And as joyous as freedom is for hostages and their families, a long road still remains ahead. I spoke to the director of the Institute for Trauma Recovery at UNC Chapel Hill about the psychological impact. 15 months. 15 months that started with absolute fear and terror. 15 months of not knowing whether they'd be alive the next day or by midday or evening. 15 months of not knowing whether their family or friends had survived. 15 months of which most of us will never know the true and full story of what they went through.
The people that are coming out of this prolonged hostage situation in Gaza are at the very extremes of stress exposure.
Among the hostages scheduled to be released by Hamas is Chapel Hill native Keith Siegel. His wife Aviva was released after 51 days in captivity. The day each hostage becomes free is a momentous one. But psychological treatment is likely to last years, perhaps the rest of their lives. Dr. Sam McLean is the director of the Institute for Trauma Recovery at UNC Chapel Hill.
Those symptoms can either be psychological symptoms like the kind of flashbacks and nightmares that we see on TV shows, but can also be much more in the line of headaches, abdominal pain, having difficulty concentrating, feeling like things aren't the way they used to be.
Dr. McLean says there are medications that can help with a range of symptoms that can evolve over time.
There's treatments that we found to be, have been shown in study after study to be effective, like cognitive behavioral therapy and exposure therapy. The great thing is that we now have a number of different treatments that we know are effective, and that we can, the individual mental health providers can work with individuals to figure out what's best for them.
Every person is different in how they are impacted by trauma and what works best for them over time. Friends and loved ones are very much a part of the path forward.
And we need to help people who are having such symptoms to get connected to care and understand that everyone has their own journey and there's no particular set course that one can predict for a specific individual, that everybody's different and that what we need to do is support them as they need it.
Wow, you can't even imagine what the hostages have gone through all these 15 months.
No, and there are years and years and years of research on this.
Right.
You know, and one thing that Dr. McLean said, you know, that kind of puts it in perspective is you think about school shooting survivors,
right,
and the amount of treatment that they need for years to come. That was one day. Multiply that times how many days in 15 months.
Scary to think about.
It's just, we don't, none of us would ever want to have to experience it, but we have to be there for them as best we can, for sure.
Long road ahead.
Yeah.